Oh my goodness, I am a slave to nicotine. The worst thing to be addicted to. Probably not the worst, but it's not good. I'm sure there's people out there addicted to fucking children, and that's I much rather be addicted to nicotine. Just some perspective. It's not a good thing to be addictive to, as addictive as it is. I definitely, I'm not going to say I sank to rock bottom today, but I have, for the last 4 years, I've had a zen in my mouth from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. I was shifting it around in my mouth, and the nicotine pouch met the tip of my tongue, and without thinking, I tried blowing a bubble like it was a piece of gum, and I said, Josh, that's not healthy. You're crazy. But at the same time, it's kind of impressive that it hasn't happened in 4 years until today. I think it's time to layer it up and go get some more. If I have 4 Zens in my mouth, all corners, I won't confuse it for bubblegum ever again. Problem solved. As a matter of fact, I'll take it a step further and start cutting my gums and making them bleed, and putting 4 nicotine pouches in it just so the nic gets through my bloodstream quicker. I was going out to buy some today, which it's been a very cold week in Chicago, and my landlord doesn't know. I think many units in this, I think this building is failing. Like, I think it is like it's like the conveyor belt shtick in comedy. Like, it is. The conveyor belt is moving too quickly, and I think every tenant in this building is losing their minds. It is fucking heat. Apparently nobody can throw out the trash correctly. Yeah, the neighboring building, there's a little bit of a rivalry. They put up a sign in cardboard writing, "Throw away your trash, don't leave it on the ground," because they literally said, you have a rat problem. Also, nobody breaks down their boxes. It's all anarchy here. Anybody that has an image in their mind of what they think Chicago is, it's what I'm currently dealing with in my building is absolutely just lawless, and pretty soon it's going to be like the Aurora apartments where the Venezuelans took over. There's just going to be some disorderly person sitting on a mound of broken heater parts, and it's gonna get scary here, and that's primarily the reason why I'm trying to skip town on Chicago. I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what's going on with my heat. I don't know why I didn't have any for the back end of winter last year, and then I thought it came back on. I felt my heater. It felt warm, but those were also 40-degree days, not 9-degree days. And so now I guess this year, maybe it's a loyalty thing. Maybe I'll get more heat next year. I don't know. I really don't know. And it's concerning. And it's also a me problem because I need to put in a maintenance request. But if I put in a maintenance request, it makes me feel insecure. I don't know what to do. I feel like a white woman in my house when real men working with their hands are here. I was raised by a single mom, and my drain is backing up. It's clogging up. I felt pretty manly last Monday when I undid the P-trap underneath the sink, and then there was nothing to unclog. So I don't know what's going on, other than I need to get a handyman in the house, and that is absolutely a irrational fear I have. I don't want that energy in my house. Are you kidding me? It's scary. It's just judging me. I don't know if English is their first language, at least the handymans that I've had in the house. They're talking to me and making judgments based on a conversation that wasn't in their first language, and now they're judging me in their head with their actual first language because they were able to piece together. It doesn't take a language barrier to realize that I'm just a god-awful, spineless, pussy white man. And they're like, why does this guy get an extra leg up in the world? I don't know. I don't like power. I don't know what to do with it. And I think the handyman has every right to judge me. So that's why I keep him out of my house. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to bother my landlady. Like I said, I think there's multiple issues. There's a Eastern European woman trying to get in this, like, I don't even know what it was. It was a room with a bunch of pipes, and she's trying to force herself in there saying, excuse me. So I think it's just safe to assume multiple people don't have heat in this building. What is going on? We live in 2024, almost 25. A simple solution, I would imagine by now, but this building is just collapsing. I just barricade myself, put on some extra layers because I don't want handyman judging me. Also, I got to put on some extra layers because it's been a frigid week in Chicago. And there's this little thing, this little nod, like everybody's in on it. Like we're in this cold together. Like that's a real morale statement in the miserable, unbearable weather that Chicago has to offer. 46 weeks out of the year, 3 good weeks at the end of spring and 3 good weeks in the fall. The other 46, you're fucked. You're either freezing, you're either sweating, and it's a gross sweat. It's humid. So yeah, I guess we are all in this together. The average American is late to work. The whole city of Chicago, the workday starts at 9:15 because we're all running late, and we got to put on extra layers and add time. Time's truly the only thing you can't get back, and we're all in it together. That's a real statement of morale in this city, which is insane. It's silly. It's silly. I'm freezing at the train platform and I see the crack addict screaming, looking for any opportunity to scream in somebody's face, and we're in this all together. He's just coming down from a bad high, but he's still cold. Don't worry. We're in this together. So I'm layering up to go get this thing I'm addicted to, this nicotine. I'm a slave to this substance. I have a substance abusing issue, and that's why I don't drink. That's probably winding down to an end, and I could do an episode on that. And I've tried, but I'm just it's just fake and fraudulent, and it's not for the better cause for somebody that has a more violent history with alcohol or substance abuse. So just know I'm fake sober, and I bender when I can, and I will be falling off the wagon, and I'm okay with that. You gotta fail in order to succeed. That's what those entrepreneur tweets say. That's how I view my sobriety. I don't take it seriously, and then I just amp up the substances I can abuse, like caffeine and nicotine. And I like buying nicotine in my neck of the woods. I live in a very LGBTQ plus neighborhood. I don't think they're more of a nicotine pouch crowd. I think, don't get me wrong, I think any one of them will be too drunk and try to be a social zenner, and they'll say, can I have one? And it's so annoying, especially the people that do the nicotine pouches, because you know they're just going to spit it out in 10 minutes because they are going to start hiccuping and get lightheaded, and the longer you hiccup and don't figure that out and spit it out, you're going to throw up. And so you try to say no and explain that to them, and they're like, I can handle this. You just walk away, and you just hear them vomiting. The social zenner, that's insane. Well, I don't want to say garbage people, but just empty-headed. The brain's only there for show. But anyways, I like buying Zen in my neighborhood because they're not always all out. Although I had to go to a different spot today. I went to 2 spots. I said it's too cold for this, but I'm a slave to this substance, so I'll make the trek. And it was just across the street. I'm a creature of habit. I like drinking, eating what I know is going to bring me a sense of comfort. I don't like the risk. It's very bad. I'm working on it. When I relapse, I'll be more open to coffee-flavored Zen. But in the meantime, stone cold sober straight edge Josh prefers the green spearmint. Mint if I have to. 6 milligrams. But I don't like buying Zen like downtown where everybody works. Like it's not necessarily the finance bro, but it's like the I guess just the work bro. If that's a culture, it's just, I just don't like the culture. 2, I don't like the guys. I don't like that we share the same vice. I thought historically people who worked 9 to 5s, smoked a cigarette here and there, cheated on their wives, blew off some steam for a happy hour, and then went home and raised a family like any other American. The 9 to 5 American, the white collared American. But then they transfer to Zen. And sometimes I'll stand behind these gentlemen in line, and they're standing behind some guy that just wants a pack of cigarettes, a pioneer user in nicotine usage. And then so the 2 bro guys who work 9 to 5s are talking about golf, parlays, and it's just gross. And then they get the same vice that and I'm like, now the cashier thinks I'm lumped in with these guys. Now he he's judging me. He's like, oh, this guy doesn't have a 9 to 5, but thinks he can zen. That's just what happens when you're the ultimate company, or in the demand is that high. You can take your time on the supply. In my mind, it should be like the old historic, like, at 6 a.m. and all the trucks that, like, their little box trucks that say Zen, they should be taking off on the warehouse and making their deliveries to the stores that buy them and sell them. I need them working 18-hour days to make sure the product is there for my benefit. I need these poor men who are the working class, the blue collars. I need them out delivering around the clock. I was being a little gracious with 18 hours, but that's what I can settle for. I don't need Zen having a shortage, and I don't need Zen sitting around on their thumbs and they're like, oh, well, the white-collared criminals will get their Zen eventually. The demand is so much there, we can take our time on the supply. Well, this is my personal message to Zen. I'm the working class. I need the Zen out. I need your boys working long days. I'm working long days, so why aren't you working long days? I hope everybody had a vivid image in their heads when I was talking about those box trucks leaving just one after another like a fleet. It's a fun image, and it just says Zen. I'd love for one of those trucks to break down. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sir, a payphone is just 2 blocks that way. I'll watch the truck for you. Rob him. Although that's an outdated robbery. There's no payphone 2 blocks in any way. I'm just really in a bad place. Speaking of white-collared bros, I think it's been an interesting 24 hours, folks. I think I've made the transition. I think I'm officially MAGA now. At least maybe that's what a bleeding liberal would say. It'd say, show me your recent transaction history. And it says X Premium, 1-year subscription. I got duped in a Black Friday deal. So now the podcast can also be found on X. We'll see what it's like. I'll experiment with it on there. It'll be interesting. I'm very critical of MAGA. I don't think it's only MAGA on Twitter. I don't know. We'll see. I think MAGA has more of a sense of humor than the joyous leftists. It's just where it's the most toxic. Just any political stance online. You talk to your neighbor who's a registered Democrat, registered Republican, it's going to be okay. They're going to have pretty sound thoughts and beliefs that aren't extreme one way or another. Just online is where it's the most radical on either side. Well, we're in good shape, America. I mean, you should always leave room in your mind for complete, utter disappointment, but we should be in good shape. But don't be surprised if things take a turn and it's crazy for any person in office. Doesn't have to be the most recent former President-elect Donald Trump. We'll certainly see. As long as there is Zen sold during the Civil War, I'm sold. I will be there. And guys, I think I got one more episode for a full week of just kind of getting back on the horse. And I think the episodes that I curate going forward will be back to more setup punch, a little bit longer. It doesn't need to be much longer. And I think we will have a good time with some weekly uploads from there. And I'll still get on the horn whenever. But till then, I am so glad that this is almost over. Couldn't be happier. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow for day number 7. Maybe I just keep going. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to quit. And I keep getting back on the horse, and 100 days later, I'm like, holy shit. All right, see you tomorrow.